In yesterday's video, we pretty much got everything figured out. The limit switches stop the stepper motors, which is what we want them to do. That's how we'll know the home position of each of the stepper motors. But the only thing that wasn't working was the one thing that I soldered on the board, which was the addressable LED strip. So today we're going to try to troubleshoot that LED strip and see if we can figure out exactly what's going on with it. Now, I've been thinking about it all day today, and I haven't quite figured out how we're going to work through this, but I have a couple of ideas. And I think maybe the first thing that we should do is just turn on the power supply, make sure that we're getting 5 volts where they're supposed to be 5 volts, make sure ground is ground and none of the pins are connected. So I'm just going to try to go through this methodically and figure out things one at a time, and hopefully we'll be successful by the end of this video. We'll get the LED strip working. So this here is the voltage lifter that I installed. I'm going to check all of the pins on that and just make sure that there's nothing shorted out. We'll put my multimeter in continuity mode. Having every one of those pins beep when I touch them together is not a good sign, but I'm going to take out a brand new voltage lifter and we will see if they have the same reaction out of circuit. So here goes nothing. So I have a new chip here, and I'm just going to go through and see if it responds the same. Well, that is a confusing result. I'll go back. Okay, I'm going to power it up, and then I'll start checking voltages. We'll turn the Raspberry Pi on, and the power supply on, and we will check some voltages here. So the other thing to note is that the CPU fan is spinning, so we know we get 5 volts on the 5 volt rail, so that's good. We know the chip is getting powered, or at least in theory we know that. I want to try adding back the original board. So it looks like we do have a short underneath that IC chip. I think what I'm going to do is remove the IC chip again one more time, remove all the solder, and hopefully it'll go a little easier this time. And then I think I'm going to actually, I said I wouldn't do this, but I think I'm going to actually wire everything under the board so that it makes it easier to connect and disconnect everything. So here goes nothing. So I need to take off well, I'm going to remove power first of all. Remove the HDMI cable, and then I'm going to remove the stepper motor hat from the Raspberry Pi. Now I have to get my soldering station back out. So this time I'm going to try to desolder that chip with the hot air station and see if that works. And now that I have that chip off the board, probably the best thing I could do now is to just plug everything back in, make sure that the stepper motors work and that the limit switches are still working before I try to continue. So we'll try to be a little more methodical this time. So I think I've soldered all of the components on and desoldered them at least 4 times. But I will say that each time I've done it, I've gotten better at it. And I feel like it's in a pretty good place now. So I'm going to plug everything back together and see if it works. Fingers crossed. Okay, so here is the moment of truth. I'm going to run the test script and we'll see what happens. The LED strip still is not lighting up. So this process has left me pretty frustrated, obviously. I've been at this for about 3 days, and I have completely soldered and desoldered every component on this board multiple times, probably about 4 times in total. And I still cannot get that voltage lifter on the project board on the Raspberry Pi hat to work. The only one I can get to work is on the breadboard. So I'm pretty frustrated over the last few days, but I do want to try to get a video out. That being said, this is day 22 of a 30-day challenge I've given myself to post a video to YouTube every day in the month of September. And as always, if you have feedback for me about how to overcome frustrations like this, or how to make better videos, please leave a comment down below. But for now, that's my 2 cents. Thanks for watching, everyone. Stay awesome.